Hello, this is Japan, and Payback was yesterday, so we might as well rank the matches from S to D tier. Overall, I thought the pay-per-view was pretty sick. I enjoyed it quite a bit for being one that's like, there feels like a couple pay-per-views are out there. They kind of just throw some matches together that they feel like have need like a bigger stage to either end a rivalry or to start one or something. And I feel like this is that type of pay-per-view, but it ended up, I think, being pretty solid. But how well? I guess we'll see when we rank them match to match. So I try to put them in order. I might be... No, wait. I already see that they already changed themselves out of order. Let me just fix that real fast. I'm pretty sure that was second, third, fourth. And yeah, okay. I think that's in the order that they were, just so I can remember by watching it, like, in my brain, if that makes any sense. So first up, we had Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. And I'll also say, I figured I'll do this on the... Because I did a prediction video that should be, like, the last video we did, our last video on the channel. So I only... There was 6 matches, and I got 5 out of 6 correct. So I thought that was pretty solid. This was one that I did. I don't know. I'll mention which one I got wrong, so you don't have to go back on the other video. But Trish and Becky. I think the match was a great culmination of the rivalry. Trish looked pretty good for, being retired and stuff. Like, she's had some minor matches and stuff, but Steel Cage, there's so much, and she actually did look like she got really hurt with, like, the welts on her head. I don't think that was meant to happen. Overall, I thought it was really well done. Obviously, Trish trying to scramble out most of the time was, very on character and on brand. And then at the end, we saw Becky win, which was definitely the right choice there. And then Zoe, was trying to get in on it, eventually turned on Trish, which I think will end up probably being Trish's, like, last, stick with the company right now. Like, I think she'll disappear off TV, and I think that'll give Zoe a good push to... I want Zoe versus Shayna. I'm just saying that. This is some random idea that I have in my brain, but I think those two are really badass. I really, really want them as a tag team. I think get Shayna out of the tag team, let her get a big solo singles run. And I think against Zoe Stark, that would be kind of an interesting chemistry of, like, them both being pretty tough and fighting against each other. That's at least my dream matchup right now, but, necessarily that doesn't mean anything. And it could just be random, but... Back to the match. I think all the spots were really good. We had some really good, crazy moves. I'm going to put it in A tier. I just think overall, I feel like just the match was a little long in parts. Nothing faulting against it. I'm just trying to figure out, like S tier, I just, like, those are the matches I would probably rewatch again. And I probably wouldn't rewatch this match. There wasn't, like, a lot of stakes in it, too. I think that's kind of, like, the main thing, too, for me also. But A is, like, it's a very strong A. And I really liked it. Next up, you had... Well, first you had the spot with John Cena coming down, talking. And then he ended up being the guest referee for this match. Which I think added a nice little dynamic to it. Because we'll show what Cena's doing for the next 7 weeks. Now that he's with the WWE. Like, maybe he'll have something against Miz. Or maybe LA Knight. Or maybe a triple threat match. Again, I feel like you could use Cena a lot better, but that's like a whole different thing. I feel like with Cena, I would have him facing some younger guys to maybe put them over, or at least give him some really good matches to put under their belts. Like, oh, I faced John Cena, and then, like, when they're 20 years into the company, like, they're like, one of my biggest fans was facing John Cena in the beginning, like, that type of stuff, like, that other wrestlers have done with other major talents. At least that would be my feeling. Again, I don't think that's what they're going to go. I think they're going to maybe do something with LA Knight and him. And maybe the Miz will be involved too. The triple threat does sound pretty nice, and it sounds like it'd be a really good match, but I don't think it's necessarily needed for any of their careers, because all of them are doing pretty solid. But, back to the match. LA Knight had a pretty solid showing. It showed, like, Miz wanting to leave. I didn't really get that. Like, to me, I'm like, hey, if I'm not going to be arguing with the ref that that is going to be, refereeing my match. I did like the spots where, Cena would break it up, and he made it look good. With LA Knight being upset with, Cena at the very end about, like, not having, like, a clean match, that didn't make any sense, because he was, pretty much doing it, impartially, which the ref is supposed to be doing, so I don't know why LA Knight would necessarily be mad about that, so that part I didn't like as much. I thought the match in general was really good. The spots were pretty decent. We had some really good back and forth. I'm going to put in a solid B. I did really enjoy it. Again, there's not a lot of stakes in this. I feel like the Cena referee thing was a good touch that really, like, put a really solid part of the aspect of this match, but I don't know where it's going next. I would love for these two to feud more. I think that this would be perfect. The promo of Miz dressing like LA Knight. I was actually at that Raw. That was amazing, and that was so much fun to see in person too. So let's just put it in B for now. I might move it up by the end of this, but overall, it was pretty good. Then next we got, which is the only match that I got predicted wrong, which is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Judgment Day. I really did think the Judgment Day was going to lose here. I didn't mind that they won. I really wasn't like, it was one of those matches I was like, I'm fine with it. Plus, you never know, if Kevin Owens being hurt and coming back, maybe he needed a little bit longer for full-time action, and they haven't been defending the titles. I really do wish they split these tag team titles up. They're just so many good tag teams out there that I hate that they're on one person, and I don't know when they'll get split. I don't think it's coming anytime soon, or if ever, I guess. But I really hope they do, because there's just so many good tag teams out there, like Imperium, Alpha Academy. Even the Viking Raiders have been showing up. Street Profits, God, there's just so many, and on top of whatever else you want to put together, even with the Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle thing could be great, but where are they gonna put them? Are they gonna have a big Judgment Day? There's just some spots. It's hey, if you split this, we could have way more feuds and way more stuff going on, but they're creative, I'm not, type of thing. So they got their own thing. But to the match, the street fight was amazing. They used so many weapons. There were so many spots. We got tables, we got chairs, we got kendo sticks, we got trash cans, we got hockey sticks. That would be my only gripe. I really thought that was a stupid spot where they popped up with the Penguins jerseys. I didn't mind anything else. It was just kind of weird that they just got into it all of a sudden. I don't know. I guess that's just a small gripe with it. Overall, the match was great. That fucking flip by KO was amazing. Onto the table and everything. He did great. Dom coming in there and saving them, which he did a lot that night to really procure some wins for the Judgment Day. He was that true MVP right there. This match is definitely I'm gonna go S tier. I feel like it just was good. It had a lot of good spots. My biggest gripe, I think, would be the 5-on-2 aspect. They had JD, they had Dom, they had Rhea. Everybody was there, and I just wish Sammy and Kevin had a little bit of backup. It just, obviously they didn't really have anybody there to help them, but it just felt just like the deck was so stacked against them that it just, there wasn't much that was going to happen, they weren't going to win that once you saw how many people were going out. I thought okay, Dom might come out there, JD might, but I thought JD might cost them something. But now, what does the Judgment Day do with JD? Because he helped him, so does he get that invite? And, that could be an interesting aspect. Next up, we have Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. Now, I'm going to be honest, this was just not a great match for me. I'm going to put it in C. The match itself was fine. There was nothing really wrong with it. It was definitely the mid-match. I had no vested interest in it. Rey obviously can do all of his great stuff, and Austin looked great because he could toss Rey like a ragdoll around because how small Rey was. So he had some really good spots, but it just wasn't entertaining. I did like that, Austin was pretty clean. I feel like it was it's good and bad because it's oh, you want to see him and do what he can do, but he's been doing dirty tricks for the last year and succeeding. Why would he drop that all of a sudden? And I feel like I said in the prediction videos, I think they're going Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio at some point. Either Santos turning heel or them just having a mentor-mentee rivalry for the title. And so it just kind of felt like a wash. We knew Austin was really going to have a chance to win that one. And hopefully do something with his character. I like Austin Theory. I don't like his character necessarily, but I like him as a person. He seems like he's a pretty decent wrestler. He's young. He's talented out there. So if that's the case, I would love to see what they got next before him. But this match was just definitely by far the worst on the card, which the card itself is really good. Don't get me wrong, but if I rewatch that would be the match I would skip. I probably wouldn't rewatch that match. If somebody was like, hey, you want to watch Payback with me? And they just gave me the remote, I would definitely skip over that one. It's just kind of honestly how it is. It's just a waste of time. But next up, it's not a match, but it was a spot. It was Cody Rhodes talking to Grayson Waller with then reviewing that Jey Uso is now going to be on Monday Night Raw. I do like the review. What the hell? I don't know what I'm saying. Reveal. I really liked it. I feel like hopefully they get some, maybe Jey and Cody teaming up for something. I really don't see them maybe being rivals, but I guess it could make some sense. Maybe Cody wants a pound of flesh for costing him the title at WrestleMania. That could possibly be something. So I see it having some potential down the line to being, overall something good. Grayson Waller, just his annoying self that, was what his character was perfect. And I think overall, just B. It was just one of those reveals. Was it needed that way? Not really, but I would have preferred like Jey to come out and attack Cody, or even have Jey on the show and Cody attack him. I don't know, just something like I felt like we had more questions than anything that could have easily been a spot on Raw than on the pay-per-view. Just kind of a waste of Cody, I guess, because and if Cody really has nothing to do with like a rivalry or even a match with or against Jey, then that was completely wasted. But so only time will tell how bad of that fan it was. Next up, we have Raquel versus Rhea Ripley for the women's heavyweight title. I knew this match would be great. Just, obviously with the two strengths, it actually will show off Rhea's brutality. Like, she'll be able to manhandle somebody, then get manhandled right back. And, it was just overall amazing to me, I felt. I did feel like we could have definitely had some spot with like Liv coming down, but I think she's like legit really injured, so I don't think they could have really used her. We could have definitely used that. I definitely wanted Rhea to be in a little bit more danger of losing the title, but I feel like this is going to be like a match that we're going to see a couple more times, either on pay-per-view or on just like Raw or whatever. So I liked it. I thought it was overall pretty solid. I think to me it would be like an A-tier match. It's definitely one of Rhea's best title defenses since winning, or it is her best title defense. Not even one of it. It is the best title defense that she's had. Like her versus Lena Vega was pretty okay. We kind of knew what was going to happen there, and then with her versus Natalya, was that at Night of the Champions, which was just a squash match. We didn't see much. We didn't see much else was going to happen there, so it makes sense. Unfortunately, I feel like we really need somebody else really big to go against Rhea to really put her in danger. But I think this, rivalry with Raquel is going to work out pretty nicely for her and make her look tough, but also make her look not superhuman enough that, somebody else could knock her off at some point and it won't be like out of the blue. Next up, we had Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the intros were great. They had everybody's been saying that Shinsuke Nakamura is like the anime villain, and they did the whole manga thing in the front. That was pretty cool. Overall, it was a great match. We knew that it would be heavily focused on the back, which I'm not a huge fan of those type of matches because it's like I think if I'm not mistaken, Seth Rollins' injury is real. But obviously they were going to be careful with it because even if it's a part of the story, they don't want to actually do anything damage to him. And I think overall, when you have like those type of focus moves, like people just get so heavily focused on one area, then they just end up like the match seems kind of boring to a certain extent with like moves. But at least Nakamura did a lot of different stuff, and I think he really changed it up to make it look better. I just mean in general that kind of stuff happens, but in this case they worked out pretty nicely. I feel overall like the match just from start to finish was amazing. Like there were so many great back and forth moments, and Seth finally sealing it. And I even said in my prediction video, I expected that Rollins would not be able to like leave on his own. Like he'd be struggling to get out of the ring, and I think that is exactly what happened. So I think the story that they were telling from when Nakamura turned heel on him till this was perfect, and it left to a beautiful S-tier match that I hope we get to see another one at Fastlane. That's those are my tier lists. I thought overall the pay-per-view was great. I would probably put it in an A, altogether. Definitely has some rewatchability with some of the matches that were just really good. Compared to like only really one match, just kind of being a little bit of a snooze fest to me. everything else was just really good. And I hope you guys will share your comments below. Tell me what you guys thought of Payback and how excited you are for Fastlane. Less than, well, a little bit, a month and 4 days away. I'm already excited and can't wait to see what matchups we get. I highly doubt there'll be any bloodline stuff, other than if it's Jimmy versus Jay or something. So we could have a lot bigger open card there in Indy. So I guess we'll see. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.